Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya. Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vasyantadeshatarine Mukam Karoti Vachanam Pangam Langayate Giram Yatkripātamaham Bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. Hare Krishna. Yesterday we were discussing about a very important aspect of how Bhagavad Gita comprises of five important, prominent covers, features, covers about the Supreme Lord, Ishvara, and Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, and Karma. We'll continue discussion on this further because the more we churn, the more we will understand of how these things are actually working in our life. Because without these things, we cannot understand how everything is working and then how do we actually manage. Shravana is the most potent process, dear devotees. When we really understand the gist of all these things, we will actually see the presence of the Lord. Garudadev is a pure devotee of the Lord. Actually, Garudadev was so submissive. He loves his mother so much. His mother was, one time, his mother was in a difficulty, calamity. So, to remove that calamity, he had to get the Amrit from very difficult place, the place of Indra, where it is filled with so much difficulties, obstructions. But Garudadev, it was actually very difficult for him to go to that place. There's so many troubles, problems all along the way. So through the troubles, dear devotees, finally he could get that Amrit, and then he could give it to he could give it to his mother to save her from difficulties. So the Lord has seen his character, his qualities through that. His his submitting himself to please his mother was very dear. By seeing this act, Lord was very, very pleased, and then he kept him as his charioteer, as his vehicle. Lord Vishnu, he keeps him as his vehicle, the Supreme Master. So, dear devotees, if you want to invoke the mercy of the Lord into our lives, if you really want to aspire, really want to become serious in the process of Krishna consciousness, this is a way actually. Because Kali Yuga is the most difficult age to practice Krishna consciousness. It's not easy because there's no time actually. We do so many things in the midst. We try to practice a little bit here and there. So that practice has to be more and more intensified. Wherever you get time, whenever you get time, you should remember what we discussed. You should remember, you should read, you should understand. to try to contemplate, try to discuss. If the truth is heard and then it is left, then the truth will not be beneficial. That's why whoever do not take this truth to their heart, then this this Shravana will not be beneficial to them. So taking the truth to the heart is very important. Just like Garudadev, he was, no matter what, he was trying to help his mother. So that is the one which pleases the Lord. So it is very, very important. So those five elements, the five subject matters, Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma, they govern us, they drive us. The Paramatma who is sitting in the heart is the Ishvara. There are different levels of understanding the Supreme Lord, right? Brahman, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Padanti Tattva Vidas Tattvam Yajnanam Avyayam, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti Shabdaya. So it's a step-by-step process. Brahmeti. Initially one will come to the platform Brahman, next Paramatma, next the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's how it is revealed. So in our life, I always think about this. We do so many things actually. We do so many things, but in effort to understand how these things are happening, we don't put that much effort towards it. For example, you're driving, you're driving in the car. You start the engine, you drive. It seems like it's happening naturally. But a person who is physical handicapped, he cannot drive. He cannot drive the way we are driving. So for him, it's an unnatural process. For us, it is a natural process. So what am I trying to say is, through that action, we don't see that the thing which we are doing, which is coming to us, it is actually sanctioned. The Paramatma sitting in the heart, the Ishvara, he sanctions us that yes, now you can drive. Then we'll get an opportunity to drive. Likewise, the moment he sanctions, the material nature is also sanctioning. The Prakriti sanctioning. Who has the desire? The Jiva. The Jiva has the desire to drive. But sometimes the Jiva's desire is not fulfilled also. Sometimes it is fulfilled, sometimes it is not fulfilled. That doesn't mean that every time it will be fulfilled. No, it will not be fulfilled every time. Only certain times it is fulfilled. So when the Jiva's desire is fulfilled, that depends on his. For example, if the sincerity is more, then the Jiva never thinks that I'm sincere. Please understand this. The Jiva never understands that he's sincere, never thinks that he's sincere. But actually, what is happening in the background is he is effectively working on that. He has a desire. It is not just a desire, but he's also trying to put an effort to fulfill that desire. Now, when that desire will be fulfilled, it will depend. It will depend on the sanction of the Lord. Now, even though the material nature is providing the facility, it might not be sanctioned by the Ishvara. Because he is the primary subject matter. He is the primary source. He is the source of everyone. Ishvara, Parama, Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha. That Supreme Master has to sanction. Now that Supreme Master can sanction on his free will, on his own free will, his own free nature. We cannot proclaim that today I should get Shuddhanam. We cannot proclaim that, but we put effort. We have that desire, we put effort. But Shuddhanam is only manifested when we cover up all the offenses, then come to the state of namabhas. Now we should constantly and vigilantly check, am I breaking any of these offenses? Am I making any of these offenses? When we have that serious desire and sincerity to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, to uplift our consciousness, because that is the only process which is Cheto Darpana. But for that to manifest, to come to that state, Ishvara has to sanction. Please understand. That Ishvara will only sanction when he is pleased with us. Please understand again. Now we can say why the Lord is not pleased. The Lord is always pleased with us. Understand that also. Because if the Lord is not pleased, he wouldn't have given this facility to us. Now you can say it came through karma. If it came through karma, but still that karma has to be sanctioned. Now you might have pious credits, but it has to be sanctioned. The Lord has to be sanctioned. Lord has to sanction that. Then it will manifest. Through karmic reactions, we do punya and papa. That is being taken care by the material nature, which is very sincerely working. If we did an impious activity, immediately she will send us into a reformatory place, or she will ensure that we are rightly punished, because that is her duty. Everyone is doing their duty. Prakriti is doing, Kala is doing, Karma is also doing. The Prakriti Kala is continuous. Now, today, if we do not get up early in the morning for our Mangalarti, means that doesn't mean the time will stop. No. If we do not get up for the Mangalarti, that doesn't mean the time will stop. No, time will continue. We cannot stop that time. Our endeavor to see the Lord during the Mangalarti, during the Brahma Murta hours is missed. That is our misfortune. Prabhupada is sharing, right? In the calendar message. If you decorate nicely the deities, you take care of them, then all the materialistic so-called desires will be vanquished. It is a fact actually. Material desires will not be there. That means an instruction of the Acharya, when it is followed sincerely, then we are actually protected. That itself is invoking the mercy of the Lord. Remember my spiritual master telling, one instruction, if we follow, if we receive one instruction, let's say we received an instruction stating that, okay, from today you should be sincere. So one instruction. But if we begin acting on the plane of sincerity, internally and externally, why people unable to continue the process sincerely is the desire, the lack of desire. The desire is also removed. When the desire is removed, when the association is removed. Please understand. When the association is not right association, when we do not take right association, what happens? The desire will be removed. Prabhupada immediately said, the moment you offer the deities nice bhoga, the moment you offer deities nice flowers, nice garlands, opulently dress them, when we see them nicely, then the so-called material desires will be vanquished. That is actually one of the offenses in 10 offenses. To become free from, to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is an offense to chant inattentively. Right? To maintain material attachment. But what happens? Prabhupada says immediately through one statement, Prabhupada is removing that. But for in whose consciousness that will be removed? When he actually follows that. This is actually establishing relationship with our Acharyas near devotees. Please understand. Ishvara is there. Jiva is there. Prakriti is there. Kala is there. Karma is there. But the Jiva who is there in between, in the middle, who is there, he can, through his choices, through his association, through his inspiration, he can either take the association of Ishvara or he can take the association of his material nature. That is up to him. That is up to Jiva. For example, I can sleep in the afternoon for 4 hours, or I can sleep for half an hour. That is my choice. Just giving an example. That means if I take the association, if I slept for 4 hours, that means what am I taking? I'm taking the association of material nature. That is a sense gratification actually. One time our spiritual master, he told us, what he told was, oh, our sleeping is also sense gratification. Oh, that's a fact actually. Oversleeping is also sense gratification. At the max 6 to 7 hours, not more than 7 is also maximum. At the max 6 to 7, not more than that. That 6 to 7 should also be in the right hours, 10 to 4, 6 hours. That is the perfect time to sleep. Or 9:30 to 3:30 is the perfect time. Now, if you are not managing our day-to-day activities under this, then there is some problem. We are trying to put something else in our realm. Because if we don't give importance to this, then what happens? The material nature, because Jiva, what happens? Jiva is always independent actually. He's dependent, but he thinks that he's independent. There's a foolishness. Jiva is completely dependent. If you see, we are seeing this example, right? Since yesterday, Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti. Now Jiva has a desire. That desire is fulfilled through what? Through Prakriti. Prakriti gives what? Prakriti gives the platform. And who is sanctioning? The Supreme Lord is sanctioning. That sanction is not. For example, I raised my hand. Now what is happening in between? First thing is I have the desire. And then the material nature sanctioned, provided the facility because I'm sitting in a couch. Then I could raise the arm. Okay. And then the Lord is sanctioning. He sanctioned action. Without the sanction of the Lord, it did not manifest. For example, if the same hand has a problem here in the shoulder, will I be able to raise my hand? No, I cannot raise my hand because sanction is not there. Prakriti did not sanction. So I'm gone. But now I can. It's a very simple, it's a very profound. I always think about this. Remember, spirituality telling you keep hearing this absolute truth, but still you will not be understand. You will not be able to understand this. How is that? The moment we hear more and more of them, why are we not able to understand this truth more and more to the heart? Why? Because we couldn't understand this truth more because what happens is the moment we leave the association, we are bombarded with unlimited things. We have to take care of our children, fees, this, that. Husband says this, wife says that. And husband creates one problem, wife creates another problem. And you call somebody else at the office, he creates another problem. So there's so many things, there's so much chaos going on. But this truth, what happens is, it goes in the background. It doesn't come in the foreground. When the truth goes in the background, it doesn't come in the foreground, then the presence of the Lord, how can you perceive? How can you perceive the presence of the Lord if I'm always thinking about which sari I need to buy, where I need to send this, where I need to send that, how much I need to pay, I need to buy this, I need to buy that. What is happening? We are investing our valuable energy in those things. The virya, which is there in the body, which is the power, which is the energy, what it is being done, it is spent in these activities. The strength. Then what is happening? Then the presence of the Lord, who is the source of all sources, who is the controller of the controller, cannot be perceived. But that is the first subject matter which Srila Prabhupada teaches in Gita. Those 5 essential principles. If you actually see all 700 verses in Gita, talks about these five things. That means in every verse there's a glorification of the Lord, or it teaches about the jiva, or it teaches about the material nature, or it teaches about the combination of these three. It also teaches about kala. It also teaches about karma. That means if you go through all 700 shlokas, in every shloka, one out of these five elements will be there for sure. One out of these five principles. This entire Gita is actually a discussion between pure devotee and the Lord. Pure devotee is asking questions, Lord as a spiritual master answering, giving the solutions. Now he's a teacher. Supreme Personality of Godhead took the position of the spiritual master and then he's training Arjuna. And then through that training, what is happening? He's trying to change the mentality of Arjuna. Not just Arjuna, everyone. That's why he says Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Pramana. He says everyone should be seen equally. Now, how is that manifested? Now, if I have dvesha, 1 second. If I have dvesha in my heart, how will I see everyone? Dvesha means enviousness. If I have envy in my heart, then then how can I see? How can I see everyone equally? It's not possible. That means if I don't see them, then I cannot see the presence of the Lord. That means the Lord, what He is doing in our life, we cannot perceive that. Our endeavor which we put towards understanding the absolute truth cannot be understood. Because what is there? The dvesha is there in the heart. The bodily conception is there in the consciousness. When the bodily conception is there in the consciousness, means I cannot perceive that I am Jiva. Because I think that I am this, which is totally absurd actually. For example, if this body gets infected, oh, we think so much. For example, all of a sudden there is a leg pain. I'll give this practical example. During the time of COVID, if you get throat pain or if you have running nose, that's it. The person is so fearful actually in that case. So fearful. He continuously thinks what's gonna happen, what's gonna happen. I have children, I have two children, I have this bank balance there, I have 400K in the 401K, I have this there, what should I do? What's gonna happen if I leave this body? Continuously this is what is thinking in the mind and mind. What is happening here? What is a deha bhavana? What is that? Deha bhavana means bodily conception, bodily consciousness. What is that bodily consciousness doing is this bodily consciousness is trimming up the natural essence that we are this jiva, this where the powerful spirits are. It is completely trimming up. That means that goes in the background, this comes in the foreground, which is so totally absurd actually. That's another indication that first thing is Ishvara, if completely gone. Second thing is what? Jiva, that is also completely gone. Why? Because bodily conception came. Through what? Through the material nature, through our consciousness. So that bodily consciousness, that bodily concepts, what it does is it usurps our real identity and keeps something else. That's it. I just have a throat pain. It might be, due to some indigestion or whatever it might be. There'll be some other scenarios. It's not COVID, but we think that it is COVID. Let's go immediately do the test. Wow. Hare Krishna. So this is how the material nature tricks the jiva, and then it will keep us here, life after life. These festivals is a great hope actually. For whom? For who is a sincere sadhaka. Because a sincere sadhaka does what? He depends. He has no other goal. He completely depends. You see, all the Brijavasis, when Krishna lifted Govardhan Giri, when Krishna lifted Giri Govardhan, they're all depending on Krishna. They're all watching Krishna. Krishna, Krishna Mahabaho, they come. There's a torrentious rain, dear devotees. Before Krishna lifting Govardhan Hill, there was a torrentious rain. After lifting, also there's a torrentious rain continuously, continued by Indra. And that is an arrangement of the Lord. So here, Brijavasis, they go and then they say, Krishna, Krishna, Mahabahu, please, you have kept us in a difficult state. What do we do? What's happening here, dear devotees? The same Jiva, they are depending on the Ishvara. This is the difference between a pure soul and a conditioned soul. Conditioned state, the soul which is there in the conditioned state. The soul which is there in the conditioned state, what it will do is it will not depend on Ishvara, rather it will depend on his intelligence. The moment it depends on his intelligence, it will be bewildered. It will get bewildered. Through that bewildering state, what happens? Prakriti will dominate. That means what is he taking? He is taking shelter of the material nature. The moment he takes the shelter of this material nature, what happens? He forgets the real identity that I am part and parcel of Ishvara. He's forgetting that. The second comes, that's the primary, another primary concept is the time is another valuable thing because it's the time of who? It's the time of Krishna. Because the moment the jiva takes the shelter of this material nature, time is also is a bewildering, it's a bewilder act for him. Because what he does, he opens the cell phone, he watches like videos for 4 5 hours continuously, especially on the weekend with some free time. Let us just watch some videos or open some television, watch some, waste the time in that way. There's a valuable human form of life in some other form. So what is happening? The time is actually driven through this material nature. Please understand. The time is actually driven through that. That's why what is happening? Valuable human form of life is being wasted. That means what is happening? Our identity, we are forgetting that our identity. Because that is simply an act of bodily consumption which we began our conversation. That's how they are all connected, dear devotees. We don't take shelter of the Ishvara, we take shelter of this material nature. Because Jiva doesn't have any other option. The same Jiva takes the shelter of Ishvara, the time will become Mangala, auspicious. What that time becomes? Mangala. That's why the morning hours is Mangala, auspicious. During the Mangala time, the glorification of the spiritual master, glorification of the acharyas. This is the first business. This is auspicious, the most auspicious. Same Jiva, what is he doing? He's taking shelter of the Ishvara. That means the time is what is happening? His time is expanded, dear devotees. For example, a devotee has to live for 60 years. His perfect time, which he kept in practicing Krishna consciousness, that time is extending actually his life. So auspicious, so Mangala this is. So much auspicious. This we need to understand. This is the beauty of this process. Now the same Ishvara is immensely pleased when the Jiva is always taking shelter. Because Jiva has no other goal. He's not worried about this body. He's not worried about what's going to happen to him. He's not worried about what's going to happen to his bank balance. He's not worried about any of those things. What is he worried? His only worry, am I pleasing the Lord or not? This is taking the real shelter. For him, he will realize Ishvara, who's sitting in the heart. Because first he realizes the Brahman. What is the Brahman? The energy of the Lord. Om Purnam Idam Purna. Everything is a manifestation of the Lord. Through his energy only everything is expanding. This material nature is created through his energy. The moment we see this energy, it's the manifestation of that. Then he gets the clarity, oh, this is Brahman, this is a Brahman state. Next he realizes the Paramatma. How is he realizing Paramatma? He's realizing Paramatma through this. What is this aspect? Constantly at every endeavor is taking shelter of the Lord. It is the Lord who's sitting in the heart, he'll tell. If you hear sincerely, dear devotees, this happens to a sincere sadhaka. What happens to the sincere sadhaka if he hears sincerely from the spiritual master? What happens is he will get uh, the reflections from the heart, from the consciousness that this is wrong. Immediately you get that. Then you should understand, yes, this is the mercy of the spiritual master. Paramatma sitting in the heart is reciprocating, is telling. The spiritual master is telling me on the consciousness level, no, this is not right. Don't do this. That's it. Whoever hears that and then follows it, yes, he is under the real shelter and protection. Bluntly, if we do not hear properly, then we will not get the reciprocation. Even if we get that reciprocation, we cannot able to follow it because the faith is not there. But whoever does that, he gets continuous reciprocations more and more. It's very vital. I used to think about this during I think few years back I was thinking about this before I met my instructing spiritual master. I was thinking, oh, it's very interesting. I'll tell this and conclude. This was the days in Vrindavan where very interesting. One day I suddenly hit to the wall something. I was in the middle and then I did not call Krishna, but I called my mother. Then I immediately started thinking about this. What is it? What's happening? Okay, my mother is very dear, but if I have this kind of consciousness, then how will I realize the Lord? How will I understand Him? How will I please Him? Just a small difficult, and then immediately this reaction is this: why Krishna word is not coming from the consciousness? Then later on, after meeting the spiritual master, what happens is when we continuously do the shravana, what happens is the absorption is intensified. Then no matter what happens, even a small thing, let's say a child is about to bend like this, then immediately we say Krishna because it's a difficulty. So and then even though our reflections are there to protect her, but the words do come from the consciousness. So then when these things started coming, I immediately gave that uh, gave that consciousness, the result of that consciousness to my spiritual master. Because it is through his, because I know who I was before. Now after seeing that change in the consciousness, what am I doing? We are trying to give it back to them. When we give it back to them, then
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
I think his internet connection has gone bad. Can anyone else hear him?
Yeah, we can't hear much. Mataji, you can conclude today. It's time.
Thank you. We will all appreciate Nila Govinda Das Babaji for his lecture, even though he's not here. And thank you from Silas Babaji for